For the first time in 8 years, Danush Selvarasa is on the outside looking in.
The freedom is amazing, but it's wonderful. But unfortunately, I lost my 8 years of my life.
The refugee was brought to Australia from Manus Island for mental health treatment under Medevac laws. For nearly 18 months he was held in this Melbourne hotel, then an onshore detention centre.
Hotel is tiny room and without sunlight, no fresh air. That's very difficult.
Then 3 weeks ago, he was released without warning.
My mother was crying when I told her I am free.
So-called Medevac laws were introduced in 2019, allowing asylum seekers to be transferred to the mainland for urgent medical treatment.
The matter is resolved in the affirmative.
The bill passed without coalition support, the first time in almost 90 years that a government had lost a vote in the House.
The people of Australia will remember this day and know that this is now on your head, Leader of the Opposition.
As a result of Bill Shorten's bill, rapists, murderers and pedophiles will still get a free pass into this country.
192 people were approved for transfer before the laws were repealed later that year with the support of Independent Senator Jackie Lambie.
I put up to the government a proposal to work with me on to secure my support for the passage of the repeal of Medevac.
I can't tell you the distress and frustration at watching a single vote mean the repeal of the Medevac legislation.
Former Independent MP Keren Phelps was a key force behind the Medevac bill. She says the government had no long-term plan for the people brought here for treatment.
Once they were transferred to Australia, the government continued the cruelty by locking these people up in hotel rooms with no fresh air, no access to sunshine and the outdoors. And this was for no good reason other than political posturing.
The government began releasing some groups from onshore detention in December.
If they're demonstrated not to be a threat, or that's the assessment that's been made by the experts, then it is cheaper for people to go out into the community until they can depart.
But it remains unclear how the government decides who to release and when.
I really think it's time for the government to release all of those people from this inhumane detention process and to let these people get on with their lives, to find resettlement options that let these people live in freedom and safety.
Refugee advocates estimate 124 people transferred under Medevac are still in onshore detention. 29-year-old Ismail Hussein is spending his second year in a Melbourne hotel.
We were around 60 and only 14 were left behind and the majority were released. So which made us, the rest of us, very devastated and despaired, and we don't know the reason. No one is answering to us.
Ismail was brought to Australia after he developed diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety and PTSD during his 6 years on Manus Island. 2 months ago, he reached breaking point.
At that time, I was really so depressed and, I couldn't see any hope, and there was a lot of pressure that I was feeling. And then I thought the only thing to end this pain is by taking my life. We just want to live like any other normal person. We want to move on with our lives and rebuild our lives. The damage has already been done, but we just want to overcome this. Please, let us free. Give us our freedom back.
Sydney lawyers Daniel Taylor and Nolene Balasantharan Harendran are pushing for the release of those who remain in detention. They say most of their clients aren't receiving medical care and have requested to return to Papua New Guinea or Nauru.
So our argument is that they're not being detained for the purpose of removal. Therefore, the government has failed in its obligation, legal obligation to remove them, and therefore the court should intervene in opening the doors.
A Home Affairs spokesperson told 7:30 that medical services are provided to detainees and anyone in detention accommodation can refuse care. They said people are assessed on a case-by-case basis and bridging visas are a temporary measure as the recipient finalises their plans to leave the country. Danush is on a 6-month bridging visa and is trying to figure out his next steps, but his thoughts are with those who are still detained.
They too must be released like me. It's most important.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.